Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of FNaF Theory Battle. This week we're talking about another two of the most conflicting FNaF theories, also including Dave. Bite Victim First versus CharlieFirst. Now if you don't know what any of that means, Bite Victim First is the theory that the Bite Victim, Dave Afton, was the first death in the timeline. Not including Secret of the Mimic, of course. CharlieFirst is the theory that Charlotte Emily, Henry's daughter, was the first death in the timeline. Now, let's break down both sides and see which one comes out on top. Alright, Dave's evidence time. He seems to be the focus of a lot of these theories. Now, William Afton needs a reason to kill, right? Most killers have a motivation in the movies and such. Jason Voorhees' mother was killed in the first movie, Michael Myers had an old family curse, and some are just pure evil or, psychotic. But William Afton, he was never established to have a motivation besides some vague quest for immortality, and that's only in the novels. Wouldn't it make sense for Scott to want to give some motivation to the main villain of the franchise? It would make sense that after his son dies in a freak accident, William goes mad and kills a bunch of children as a response to his grief. Or better yet, this is what I believe, if Dave First, or Bite Victim First, or whatever is canon, Dave's death is what inspires William to kill kids, because the Remnant freaking possesses the Fredbear plush, and he wants to figure out the secrets of possession, just like in the books. There's no indication of any murders happening before FNaF 4 minigames. This is probably, correctly if I'm wrong, the only FNaF era with no confirmed murders. If there were any other time when there were murders, and we should have been told them, or shown them, like we have in other cases, why on earth would Scott be like, well, Charlie's dead, but I'm not gonna tell you? It would make way more sense for Dave's death to be the first, as it's also the earliest point shown in the timeline, besides Secret of the Mimic, of course. And if you're a CharlieFirst believer, then that comes before. And that's all for little Dave. Let's move on to Charlie. Alright, now it's time for Charlie's evidence. In the novel trilogy, major spoilers ahead, Charlie was the first death in the timeline. Now how can that be? She's the main character of the books, you may ask. Well, it's because, as most of you know, and probably hate, but possibly love, Captain E.T., Charlie is a robot. So that's how she was able to be the first death and also be the main character in the trilogy. And if we go under the belief that some facts from the novels carry over into the games, William Afton being the name of the killer, the MCI presumably taking place in etc., we can make a pretty accurate assumption that Charlie was the first victim in the game timeline as well. In Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, during the Insanity ending, Henry states that there was a wound first inflicted on him. This could imply that Charlie's murder was the first major death in the timeline, besides David Murray, of course, and Fiona, but they do not matter. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the Fredbear plush says, "Don't you remember what you saw?" This could insinuate that Dave witnessed Charlie's murder, and since the game takes place in 1983, and the fourth closet says that Charlie died in 1983, it can be inferred that he may or may not have seen Charlie's death. My personal opinion is that Dave was the first death of the timeline, but not for the reason you may think. I am not a shill for Will Care. I am someone who believes in Take Cake to the Children 85. You heard me, throw your tomatoes. I think that Charlie was the fifth MCI victim. I think that Cassidy died in 1987. I know, it's probably wrong. Just no other theories make sense to me at the moment. And since the FNaF 4 minigames take place in 1983, that's confirmed, and I believe Charlie died in 1985, Dave's death is automatically the first in the timeline. Again, Secret of the Mimic ignored. That game does not matter. Well, lads and lasses, that's all the time we had for this week. Tune in next time for another video on everyone's favorite book, The Silver Eyes. Yay!